Proverbs 7 verses 21 to 23. So she seduced him with her pretty speech and enticed him with her flattery. He followed her at once, like an ox going to the slaughter. He was like a stag caught in a trap, awaiting the arrow that would pierce its heart. He was like a bird flying into a snare, little knowing it would cost him his life. Proverbs 5 verses 3 to 5. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lead straight to the grave. Proverbs 31 verse 30. Charm is deceptive, and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. Proverbs 2 verses 16 to 19. Wisdom will save you from the immoral woman, from the seductive words of the promiscuous woman. She has abandoned her husband and ignores the covenant she made before God. Entering her house leads to death. It is the road to the grave. The man who visits her is doomed. He will never reach the paths of life.
Man, these are some wise words that a lot of us don't tend to consider when it comes to women. I mean, the Bible here is clear. You have to be cautious when it comes to the seductive power that women can have over men, especially immoral women. I mean, here it tells us that her words can be sweet, they can be persuasive to the point where it can lead us to destruction. And how many stories have we heard of men that have been scammed, or men that have been persuaded and captured into a trap where they can't get out of? And now you have women that are controlling their lives, and ultimately they end up, for example, getting a divorce, and they end up getting half their money. So we have to be careful with the type of women that we are considering letting into our lives. And here it says that falling for such temptations can lead to poverty and ruin. And I mean, we've seen this in real life, right? We see this all the time with gold diggers. We even have a name for it. We have to realize that not all attention and admiration is genuine or even beneficial. And we have to be mindful of this, because we as men, right, we feed off of that, right? We want to be the hero that our woman admires, right? That they look up to. We want to be that provider in their lives. And I think lastly, in a world that is so focused on short-term pleasures, we have to prioritize long-term goals, right? Just because a woman is beautiful or is giving you some attention, that doesn't mean that that is the woman for you, right? You have to look at the character. You have to look at where she comes from, what her family is like. And that's why I'm saying that you should be long-term focused, right? Because if ultimately, let's say you marry this person, is not just about how beautiful she is or even how she treats you. You're marrying her, and you're also becoming part of their family, and she's becoming part of your family. And you got to think through, like, man, is the picture that I'm envisioning long term going to make sense for me, for her, and also for my children? I think above all, we have to seek for wisdom. The Bible tells us that the start of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. This means that you should be in prayer, you should be reading your Bible, you should be looking for godly counsel, right? That means that you are surrounding yourself with wise men that can speak into your life and that you can go to with advice, and that they can call you out when you're making wrong decisions, and that you can also trust when you're considering a person to date or even marry. And you should also be vigilant, right? Guard your heart. Make sure you get to know the person before you let the feelings get involved, because once the feelings get involved, it is going to be very hard for you to be able to see the things that are right and the things that are wrong. And this is why proper counsel is very important. People that can actually tell you the truth about what is going on. This means, guys, that we are setting proper boundaries. We're not having sex before marriage. We're making sure that we are in situations where we can control ourselves and that we are not allowing things like physical affection or even emotional affection get to the point where it is clouding our judgment. I hope that this was helpful, and as always, just want to remind you that we must persevere. Peace.